off the card,
Yeah.
and then you start focusing on other things, which, I mean, the next battle was kind of a starch difference.
Yeah, imagine if they started with Diz and Sikh.
People was asking for that in the front line, too, and I'm like, brother, that's not a good idea. That's not the path that we want to take.
I had faith in it. I thought it was going to be something else. I thought the approach was going to be different. I thought the discussion was going to be different. I was
Can I get one thing out the way really quick?
All right, go ahead. Get your round off, man.
Some things you just don't do, right? Like,
I don't. You go straight to the third?
Well, I'll start with this, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna get my over. Like, I had real sick in the first clearly. The second, Diz did really good. I was in that moment. I was like, okay, Diz might have taken this one.
Really good.
He did pretty solid.
I thought
it was a huge improvement from the first.
Relative to what
I thought he was good. I thought he was solid in the second, an improvement, but I wasn't blown away by the second either.
I was highly entertained by a second. I'm sorry.
So he had the creatine. Obviously, he dressed up like real.
I thought it made sense. Yeah. I get it. Diz is a person that hate right now because the shit that he's in. But for me, I gotta jump in this and call it fairly. Yeah. And what I saw, I think I can edge Diz's second.
Yeah, he had the second until the third.
First from real
he had the second until the third.
Mm-hmm. Clear.
I'm sorry. The same way people argue, like back in the day, like, Jack Boy had the first against John, and then the second happens is like, I usually typically do round for round, but in this case, 6-3-0.
He just lost
6-3-0, and I don't even have to explain what happened in the third. Everybody knows what happened in the third. Diz, come on now.
And listen, if you watch pay-per-view, you already went off. I'm tired. I'm not about to do this. I'm not going to do all that. If you watch pay-per-view, I went off. I did my thing already. Spoken with it. But I thought this was a clear battle to Sikh. I think Dizaster's already on Twitter saying that Sikh won.
He said he sacrificed the third.
He said shout out to Sikh for the W.
He said he sacrificed the third. Yeah, he wanted to get stuff off his chest. But here's my thing. Here's my grievance, right? You spend... I'm not gonna call it a sympathy round, but some people may see it as a sympathy round. You spend the third round to talk about your struggles, right? In battle rap, people talk about like their rough upbringings, but my thing is like you do that to try to like make us side with you, and then you do a whole 180 and say what you said. Like I don't see how he could think that he could do that, and then us actually appreciate it after, and then he acknowledged the fact that he was like, I know I'm gonna get booed for this, so he doubled down on this.
And then he did this, and he's asking for more. He's kind of basking in it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's one of those things where I saw on Twitter he was talking.
So that's what he meant to face off. I'm gonna
get some stuff off my chest.
You just don't play like that. You just don't. I saw you said, I wasn't calling him this and that. You don't play like that. It's just it's silly. It's dumb. It's really what it is it's dumb. It's not even tone deaf. It's just disrespectful. And he got the reaction that he was asking for.
This ain't the first time. What I would say to Diz is you gotta understand what you're saying and how you're saying it. Because if you go back to the Hollow battle, what was the reception like that? What were people saying like that? They wasn't. So why would they F with it now?
On the URL in the Houston crowd.
Why would they have a different reception now? I feel like he's one of the God tiers. You know what I'm saying? He's been in the culture for probably over 2 decades at this point. I feel like I don't want him to conform to the stage. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I think he can beat him, but just get into the point. I feel like the structure should have been there though. I get it till you have short amount of prep time. You know what I'm saying? But the structure should have been there at least. For us to digest what you're doing. The second round, good. Like if you got a little bit of that in the first and the third, getting to the point a little bit faster too. I don't know, man.
But I want to credit Sikh though. Let's get.
Oh yeah. That's because
I hate when you do that. I really appreciated Sikh's first round. We were at just the hotel trying to remember bars or whatever. But the Richter scale, Dizaster on the ground was crazy. The 7.62.
That was fire.
That was crazy.
Probably the bar of the battle.
That was crazy. And then the whole breakdown between, because the comparisons between them. Like my people do this, her people do this. Like 9/11. 7-Eleven, like that was creative, you know what I'm saying? A concept round or whatever.
A little bit of comedy.
The second round, me and Smo were actually worried because we were like, okay, Sikh had an okay round, but this is beatable. And then Diz, he does in the second, we just like,
yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. When Diz walked off stage, I'm like, yo, what is going on? I'm like,
and we said the same thing. I thought because he was pissed about the first. Because his first what was crazy is that his first is I mean, no, his third is definitely the worst, but his first was terrible.
I'm done. I thought it was something like that, but for him to come back and assume, oh, you still ready to fight? I'll give him respect for that, though. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get booed like that. They don't want to fight. They give up. I feel like he definitely did fight back in the second, but again, that third, sloppy, that's the song.
No.
Not to mention, respect, it wasn't good up to then either. So it's you're leading not good into the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a bad situation.
I'll give the crowd some advice real fast. Yeah, you got to boo, right? But when you boo, you make it around longer. Yeah. Y'all let him get through it real fast. I get it, you want to stop him at that line he said, but he'll get through faster probably in a minute if you just silent and then boo it then. When his round is, when he said some time, boo, let it out. Just saying, but I feel like the people made it around extra long, longer than it was supposed to be. Yeah. Me personally. Yeah.
But shout out to Sikh for handling like performing on the big stage, redeeming himself from last year in Houston or whatever, and two, just ascending up the ladder. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we talked about one people and how like we knew that they were a talented group of people, but stringing along like top tier wins on like big platforms, big stages is like the next test for him. And I feel like Ace did what he's supposed to do, and Sikh did what he's supposed to do. Now we're going to get into a third person that did what they were supposed to do in the next battle.
Before we get to the third joint, shout out to Sikh. Spades, 2 and a possible. You can argue the second round. I'm not mad at that. So it's 2 or 3-0. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm really getting tired. I'm really getting sleepy here. Fuck it. Let's go to the next battle. Shotgun Suge versus Fonz. The prediction was Shotgun Suge team. That was the prediction. Yeah. And a lot of people had. Did y'all have that?
I had Suge. He had Fonz. I had Suge. He had
Suge. And it's Suge. I rock with you. I really do.
You knew
I was very entertained, but I predicted Fonz because understanding.
I believe 84%.
Yeah. I predicted Fonz because the Houston crowd is really big on the bar for bar.
Okay.
Like I feel like they like approaches if you tie it up well, but like they're really with like the bar for bar.
Every punch did great tonight.
Right. And you know what I'm saying? Suge did amazing in Houston because he had like a lot of great energy, a lot of good performance. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Thank you.
I felt like Fonz took the approach of like every line I'm attacking him. Like I'm probably not gonna win with an overwhelming round, but I'm gonna win eventually. My punch is gonna tire him out.
He did win overwhelming in a couple rounds on him.
Yeah. But the first round, I felt like Suge wasn't, no pun intended, in his pocket, right? Like I felt like he was trying to, like there was a couple times where he would stumble over his words or whatever, and it would throw off his momentum into his punches and stuff like that. Like he still under some good bars, but I felt like he was, trying to gain momentum or whatever, right? I felt like Fonz, he also started off slow, but he was ending on a high note. Like his bars was like connecting and like it was adding up after a while. It's like every creative line, even if it wasn't a haymaker, it's like, ooh, that was nice. Ooh, that was nice. Like he was consistent with his punches. Whereas like before, like on the last SM, if a bar didn't land how he wanted it to, he's struggling. But I thought that he showed confidence in that first round, and I felt like he took the first round clear. The second round, Suge understood that he dropped that first round. He came out the gate with amazing material, great energy, bars to match. Like he was really, really good in that second round.
He had a lot of Fonz and Fonz flips though, I will say, which I'm not one of those that's like very against it, but when you're doing it a lot, I mean, you know what I'm saying, but it made for a great second. And then, I mean, Fonz gets the first clear. I believe the second's debatable, truthfully. I edged it to Suge. So I'm like always competitive one when we get into the third. And I feel like Fonz third is really like a top tier-ish statement.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when we're talking about SM, we're talking about the talk that was coming in.
That was the I formation round?
That was the I for
the football scheme into the I.
And it's reminiscent to his second versus Mac Myron where he did the computer scheme, but it's not like very stretched out wordplay. It's very fluid. He's getting each punch has got about 3 to 4 of the references. He keeps stacking them. By the time he hit I formation, we could debate what was bar of the night, but in terms of pure explosion from the crowd, I don't think anyone shook the building quite like by the time he finished his third round. And for me, it's really the only debate is 230, and I think Fonz might have made that top tier statement tonight. My personal opinion.
I had Fonz first and third, second debatable. I edged Suge the second. My thing is like Suge's third wasn't bad, but I felt like he had a lot of solid lines, a lot of good rapping pockets.
It's about to be Lang versus Suge too. It's coming.
I thought he had a lot of good solid lines, and I thought he ended on a strong note. When he got to "What's Your Life Like," he ended on the dunk, the alley oop. I thought that was great. I thought it was a great ender, right? So I'm like, okay, but I still felt like the door was kind of left open a little bit. So when Fonz gets into like he's landing stringing bars back to back to back.
He did the dunk too. The T-Mac, I do my own off the glass. He rebutted.
Yeah,
I don't remember how many Fonz rebuttals I've seen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's definitely in his bag.
The ad on the clip from Nitty. You know what I'm saying? The YouTube.
Did he rebuttal Danny too?
He did, but he didn't. I don't think it landed like that. But
nothing as good as that.
Yeah, but the third round from Fonz, like that was the coming of age in terms of like being a top tier. Because I feel like, again, like Smo just mentioned, like that football scheme, like every line was good. The how you name shotgun? You never switch pockets.
The nickel. Oh my god! I could just name different football elements he put. I can't even.
If you don't have a safety, how you gonna stop the Hail Mary?
Yeah, nah.
Like, come on.
It's at least 15 to 20 references.
Yeah.
And not that long. It's not a round long concept. People will take 15 to 20 references on the scheme and then they'll do a round long thing. It's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
Only half of his round is that, but it's so condensed. We got a new puncher up here punching at the highest level, man. So shout out to Fonz.
But again, I felt like Suge's second was really good. So don't think I'm the, but like your second was really good. I just felt like the first.
Hey, this might be the last recap. I think everybody did their stuff, so this is the last one you've seen. Suge. I'm pretty sure everybody's saying the same shit.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the first
might not come out till tomorrow.
But the first, I felt like if he wasn't stumbling, right, the opposite would look better. And in the third, I feel like he ended on a strong note, but I just felt like Fonz was a little bit more consistent about it. Consistency was the difference maker in this battle.
Hey, listen, man. I tweeted. I said Fonz likes Terrence Crawford.
And he did after the second. He went up to the camera and he was, and that's
looking like Terrence Crawford.
He was seizing the moment, man. When you're ad-libbing, when you're moving in between your bars like that, that's when you're in a different level. I mean, all battlers, they're coming, they're rapping in 3 rounds for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you're doing the in-between and you're seeing confidence like that, that's the next, I feel like really the next level for a lot of battlers. Now we're talking optics and really making people believe in your performance. So shout out Fonz, one of the best performers of the night, easily.
It's our top performance of the night. And shout out to Fonz. I think Fonz from the Danny Myers battle, was that SM as well?
Yeah.
That was SM. So I feel like he gained that experience. The first round and a half that he spit, it didn't make sense for him. You know what I mean? The crowd wasn't receptive to it. Then he found pockets in the second half of the second and the third round, which you could kind of like, this round, the battle was available between him and Danny. I had Danny, respectfully. Yeah. But you've seen all the experience that he absorbed that day in this battle from round 1, 2, and 3. The brother was consistent all throughout. Even if you want to give Suge that round, I feel like even the round that you want to give Suge the second round, you can argue that for him as well. From the top of the round to the bottom of the round, this man is landing back to back to back. Whether it be a haymaker, a hook, or jab, he's landing, he's punching. He's Terrence Crawford. He's Terrence Crawford. I had Fonz as well. The fan vote was for Fonz as well.
As it should be.
And Fonz walked past me, right? No words. Just the
little grimace that he had.
Andre Black. Shout out to Fonz by keeping it 1,000.
That's what you get to do when you win.
Yeah, that's what you can do. He did his thing. Again, my prediction was for Shotgun Suge. Outcome for me is Fonz, though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fonz.
Yeah.
Shout out to Suge as well. And I think at this point, we got Asameen versus Nitty. That's a good battle to me. Both ways, both rounds from both of them. We got Diz versus Sikh. I think the second round from Diz is entertaining. Yeah. I think the first and the third from Sikh. So it's not a bad event right now. No. You got Fonz. No. Fonz going crazy, all 3.
Suge's second was really good.
So just a bit lopsided. Yeah, not bad, you know what I'm saying?
I had no problem. I think the battle was still good when somebody loses clearly. I understand it's a classic, it's a fight, but when somebody loses clearly, I think that's good too.
And that's what we debated in the building.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It does hurt the replay value a little, because unless you're a big fan of the person that won, like if you're not the biggest Fonz fan or you just feel neutral, you're not just going to watch Fonz like beat Suge, you know what I'm saying, over and over. But I still a good performance. Like when people reach that level, body bag or not, that's entertaining. That's a part of history, and somebody did great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
what was after this?
Was it DNA and Jerry?
DNA. Can I?